And I'm calling this meeting to order. Would everybody please stand and join us? Counselor Buzzard, would you please lift us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, as we gather here today to take care of the nation's business, we ask you to keep your hand upon us, give us your guidance. We also ask you to keep your hand upon our citizens that are traveling from North Carolina to our Tri-Council meeting starting tomorrow. We ask you to give them safe travel. We also ask you to give us safe travel on our home as we go to our home tonight. We ask all this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Shelley, would you do a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Keith Austin,
Here.
Wes Snowfire, Harley Buzzard,
Here.
Joe Bird, Julia Coates, Sean Crittenden, Joe Deere, Mike Dobbins, Kanan Duncan, Rex Jordan, Daryl Legg, Dora Petskowski, Mike Shambaugh, Mary Bakershaw, E.O. Smith, Janice Taylor, Victoria Vasquez. We have a quorum.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion for approval of the minutes from the May 17th meeting. Second? I think I heard a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. We have reports, and before I go on, I can't tell who's on screen up there. Who's MH and who's VE?
This is Verna.
Okay, thank you. We have reports from Miss Diane Kelly. It's good to have you here, Diane. Thank you.
I gotta scoot over here where I can see you, if that's okay.
It's good to see you today,
Well,
Diane.
thank you, thank you. The picture that we're passing around is the wraps that have gone on the window at Pryor for our new office. We're having our ribbon cutting open house on Wednesday, July the 7th at 11 o'clock, and that's just to give you a picturesque idea of what it's going to look like. We have carried out that same theme in our wraps for our trailers, our our classrooms that we have that are here now have the same wraps, and they're blue. They're really nice. I think they appear in this report at the back. On page 10 of 11, it shows the mobile training skill classroom, and then what the back of the trailer is going to look like. So it's in your report for this month. Yes. Can you hear me? I can move this up a little bit. Okay, all right. There's a screen here. Surely I've got both of my vaccinations. Anyway, our wraps are on the trailers, and we'll have those to showcase up there at Pryor. We also have our digital display. You've probably seen it out here by the highway, and we have another one that's coming, and that's for us to put out information about any recruitment, job fairs, or to spotlight certain participants for outstanding achievement. And Jordan Holderby's working on that, and Hunter Palmer has the trailers that you see in the report this month. And then the classroom will be all of our staff that are working in our career services office at Pryor. One of the things that we're doing is we're trying to capitalize on the one-stop concept, and Jennifer Kirby and I have been working together. I think I mentioned that last month, but there is a showcase window to the left of our area, and Jennifer and some of her staff are going to be moving into that portion of it. They won't be there until December, and we'll probably have another open house, but we'll do it like a Christmas open house, introducing the human services piece of it. So a year from now, everything will be in one shop there in the Pryor area. And I just want to say that we wouldn't be in Pryor today were it not for Janice Taylor. And I think you all should give her a round of applause. She She took me up there one day and she said, Diane, she said, we need to get you all an office up here and get you out of Cherokee Heights. She said, people don't know you're here. And she said, the best place for you would be the industrial park. So we got busy. We talked to Sean Slayton, and at the time, they agreed with us that we needed to be up there. And it has really paid off for us because we've been able to get ourselves in the doors of a lot of the businesses up there. And as a result of it, we've gotten a lot of people jobs, not just there in Mays County, but also in Delaware, Cherokee, all the surrounding counties, because people drive there to the Mid-America Industrial Park for a lot of the jobs. So I just wanted to share that with you because sometimes we don't acknowledge the people that do these things behind the scenes. And had it not been for her pushing this, I don't know that we'd even be where we're at today up there in Mays County. So I want to thank her. We also are working out at the west end of, we're working at the west end of the Cherokee County. We are located out there behind CCO. Our linemen and our fiber program is out there. We hope to have a cement pad poured out there eventually where our trucking, CDL trucking, can use that. Right now, we're using the Woodmark parking lot, and we want it out there in that one area because the classroom training is done out there in the trailer. We've been using Indian Capital Technologies trailer for quite some time, and I just can't say enough about Jerry Hooper and Kathy Adair for allowing us to use it as long as we've been using it. Now that we have our other trailers, I told Kathy last Friday, we'll give you your trailer back, but we'll make sure we clean it up before we give it back to you. But they have been very helpful. I couldn't say enough about it. We'll have the lineman, fiber, buildings trades, CDL trucking, OSHA training, industrial trades, which is a new trade that will go in out there. It's going to be making some cement vaults for caskets. We'll be doing some storm shelters, and let me see what else. Septic tanks. So we'll be just doing an array of things out there, but it'll be a training program. And we'll also be working with the meat processing. Once it's up and running, we'll have some trainees out there working in that capacity as well. We plan to build a cement pad for the trucking, as I said, and then I'm working with Jennifer and Tricia Peebles to look at a child care center out there for the clients that are out there in that training arena, as well as the employees who work out there. So it would be right across from where CCO is. There used to be a building there at one time, so some of the plumbing and electrical lines and things are still there in that one spot. We're looking at taking the office building up here across from the water tower and putting some of our soft skill trades up there. So the hard skill trades would be out west of town. One of the things that we plan to do is get these trailers out and do some classroom training in conjunction with Northeast Tech, with some of the other tech programs, and we'll have our own classroom training, which will be designed just for our tribal members, but we'll be doing some mobile training after we get all this stuff up and running. So we'll be moving around in the 14 counties. Career Services working with Carl Albert and hopefully Rogers State. Have not been able to get the Rogers State piece in place, but I know that they're going to work with us. They always have been very receptive. What we're hoping to do with the child care center that's going in Pryor and the one in Salisaw is that we will have our certification program there. So we'll be recruiting from the Mays County area and the Sequoia County area so that the people will be from those areas, not from here in Tahlequah. We'll just have the training going on there in conjunction with the schools. So I just wanted to share that with you. We don't have all the things worked out, but Jamie Henson at Carl Albert and I have been in dialogue, and Marsha White, who was hired to run the child care center there in Pryor, she's been involved in it as well, so that once we get them trained, we'll have a cadre of people that we can pull from for the child care facilities once they're up and running. Let's see. We're also working on DUI training. Just about every other person that walks in our door needs DUI training in order to get a job. They'll work close to home, but they can't work far off because they don't have a driver's license. So we're looking at developing that. We've got a job description that HR is working with us on. Ben Barnett is going to help with that, and we hope to move that around so that we have training going on in Pryor, in Veneta, in Sallisaw, Stillwell, and all the other locations, once we get it up and running. That is to help our people so that they can actually go out and get jobs and successfully go out of town to get those jobs so they can make some good wages. So I know that some of y'all have talked to me about this, but that right there is one of our biggest roadblocks with some of our gentlemen in the programs. We're also working on paramedic or EMT training, one of the two. Don't have that worked out yet, but we're hoping to have all this done by fall. So we've got a lot on our plate. Job Corps, students are approved to come back to Job Corps. All new students will go through what they call a MyPace program that the Department of Labor came out with. They'll have to be in virtual training for 60 days prior to coming back to the campus. So if you have somebody that you're wanting us to get in Job Corps, they have to commit to go to virtual training. We will provide the Chromebooks for them while they're in the training, and there's teachers and counselors at the center that will be working with them for the first 60 days. After that 60 days is up, they have 10 days to report to the campus for enrollment. So Job Corps is changing the way they're doing things, and this is one of the things that we're being asked to do. So a lot of our staff over there have had to go through some training with some new jobs that they have come out with that are going to be mandatory for people to get into the center. We had our school board meeting, and Don Lucas retired. He was our representative from Talking Leaves. Now the school board superintendent is from Tulsa. And the other two centers asked me to continue to coordinate on the activities for the 3 centers in the state. So when we do things jointly, I work with Carl Hilliard and the center director at Guthrie. So we're all working in unison together. One thing that happened about 3 weeks ago, the chief and Secretary of State came down and visited with me. Then they went up and visited with Gina Blackfox, and they felt like that there was a need for a call center for all these people that are calling in. If you were here about 4 weeks ago, this hallway was packed full of people trying to get registered through registration. And they were bombarded, and then people started calling. And so we opened a call center 3 weeks ago out at Marcoma in the boys' dorm on the east side, first floor. And Gina Blackfox is heading it up, and I'm working with Gina because all the people that's on that call center are my program participants. And it's working very well. In fact, Gina and I have been in dialogue just about every day. Gina said it was like the Jerry Lewis telethon this morning. She said them phones were ringing and people were answering the phone, and she said, she said, you should have came down here. And so Chad Harsha has 3/4 of the building, so we're working with Chad, and we'll have some sort of a little open house eventually, but we got to get everything set up. It was a rush job, but it's working. And Ashley Fox has got some of my summer program participants. She's taking them out into the outlining areas and working with elders and people that do not have access to their computer to get into the portal. So she's out there today. She'll be out there for the next several weeks with these participants. And then we also have some of our business tech students who are answering phones and helping people get into the portal. So we're working in conjunction with registration and all the stuff that's going on right now. And I thought it was a really good idea when the chief and secretary came down to talk about this because there's a lot of things going on. And the more things that we can help our people with, if we can help them, they're not going to be here wanting program participation. They're not going to be wanting this because we're going to be able to go out into the outlining areas and help them. And it's the call center is beneficial for those at-large clients as well, Mary. So they're getting a lot of calls from out of state. We're still doing our job fairs, recruitment fairs, and we're continuing to work with as many participants coming in the door. I believe Jeff said we had over 500 and something kids that have come in for the Summer Youth Employment Program. That's in addition to the ones that he already had on the program, so that number is big. So all of my staff are hooked up. We're all busy, and not too busy to answer your calls or help you with anything. And if you have anything that you want to talk to us about or refer to our program, just give us a call. We'll do our best to see that they get some service. Any questions?
Who's chair?
Yes, Victoria?
Just a comment, Diane, as usual, I'm always overwhelmed at all the things that you and your people do, and I want to thank you specifically for mentioning the outline, Ashley Fox, going out to the different locations, and I heard from 2 of my citizens were in line at Bonita today. We're very happy to be getting help with the portal, so we've got people that are behind the scenes that a lot of people don't even realize what's going on, and we're always helping our citizens, but you're at the helm. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you'll just have to remember that a lot of these youth participants, they're better on that computer than probably any of us. They know how to get in systems that I didn't even know existed.
I agree.
Counselor Crittenden.
Yeah, Diane, thank you for that call center. That helps everybody, helps us, helps the people. Will you say again, I had a text a while ago when you was talking about the caskets and the septic tanks. Will you repeat kind of what you was talking about there?
Well, it's not up yet. It'll be a while. The architect is still helping us to design the building, and then you have an electrical engineer that has to go out. It's those big old green buildings behind CCO that we're looking at to put all of this out there. But some of the things that came about was there's cement vaults that are needed for some of these people that are burying their loved ones out in homemade cemeteries. And then there is also a need for maybe some placards for some of these cemeteries. That's what we hope to do eventually. So don't hold me to saying that it's going to be done in 6 weeks or 6 months or a year. We don't know. There's a lot of things we have to get worked out, but that's what our plan is. And working on some storm shelters that are needed for some of the homes and also some of the septic tanks.
That's really, really good there, the burial. Anything that points in that direction, something we could help with, storm shelters, septic tanks, something we don't think about. But
This idea came from administration. It wasn't my idea.
Well,
It came
that's-
from the chief and
that's-
Secretary of
that's
State and
headed in
chief of
the-
staff.
that's headed in the direction of a whole lot of my phone calls is those 3 things you're talking about. So appreciate your work.
Well, it's trainees that we're looking at, and we're hoping that it will generate some good work skills, training skills, so that they can go out and get jobs in their respective areas.
Counselor Legg.
So Diane, I'm just wondering, what is the flow of day workers right now?
Right now, day workers is kind of down in numbers.
that's
We
what-
usually get an influx right after school starts, up through that time period, up through Christmas.
Yeah.
And usually January, February. And a lot of people that do seasonal type work is what we see in the winter months.
Yeah.
And then whenever a lot of these businesses start ramping back up, usually in the spring, all the way up through October, November, they go back to these other jobs that are seasonal.
Right. I have just a kind of an idea. We were talking, me and Shambaugh, there's a lot of restaurants that are operating with just one waitress, one cook, one staff. Sonic Drive-In in Salisal, same thing. One night, every stall was full, and there was only one car hop out there able to even run around. And I was just wondering if we would be able to take day workers and not use them on the day work program, but just say, you have to go to work here, or you can't be on day work. Or you have to go to work over this place, or you can't be on day work. Because I got a place for you for a full-time job, whether it's a cashier at a grocery store that they can't even get enough cashiers right now.
Well, right now, the Cherokee Nation, it's always been internally where we put the tribal training assistants is what it's
Yeah.
called now. And there's so many requests inside Cherokee Nation that I can't fill the quota.
Well, no, that's good,
And-
though.
And part
That's
of it
good.
has to do with the employment benefits. Last week, Gina and I had to have a conversation with a couple of our staff that are in the call center. They said, I can make more money drawing my unemployment. And I said, but when does your unemployment run out? And they said, well, it'll run out. And I said, well, you figured the amount. If you want to take this job, this is what we're going to pay you. And it could last for a year.
Right.
So you have a golden opportunity right now, or you can wait in 3 weeks and get laid off, and I can't guarantee that I'll have a spot for you to go into.
That's right.
So they took the spots.
And on the child care training program, so it's not going to be operated through NACTEP, right? We're trying to get a new program developed at Carl Albert and then one at Rogers State, possible?
Correct,
Will
correct.
they be getting any kind of stipend, like what we get here?
It'll depend on which program that they qualify for.
Okay,
Some of them will, some of them won't. It'll just depend on the amount of money that they're making when they come in and make the application.
I got
We've
you.
got some people that are way over income, whereas others are under that level.
Okay. All right, no, that's excellent, Diane. Thank you so much. I appreciate what you do.
It's my staff that do it, not me doing it.
That's exactly right. And I know y'all are watching, and y'all heard that right there.
Yes, yes. And these are not my ideas. These are ideas that are generated by the chief and administration, and they say, can you pull a rabbit out of your hat? Can you make this happen? And I'll say, let me go see what I can do. And it happens. We do our best to try to do the things that are needed for our Cherokee people in the 14 counties and at large.
Are there, yes, Counselor?
I'd just like to say to that, that it all starts with leadership, though, and your workers are a reflection of your leadership. So don't say, I mean, we understand and who may do a lot of the work and the footwork, but that starts at the top, good leadership. So, and you've always given us that.
And I've got good bosses. I have to say that. I just want to say congratulations to you, Councilman Shambaugh, and to you, Councilwoman Vasquez, and you, Councilman Dobbins, and also to Councilman Smith. And I guess that was it. Just the four of you that won your seats back. Well, you do a good job, and we appreciate all that you do.
Thank you, ma'am.
Are there any others for Diane?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes, Diane, a couple of things, just a comment. I know I've heard a lot of good comments from tribal council members over the years. I have preached and preached about agriculture, about raising stuff to give to our elders. We finally got a garden center at J, but that's the only one we've got. I don't know if the administration is high on agriculture or not, but that's something that we need to look forward to doing for fresh vegetables and fruits. So maybe they can listen and give you some more ideas and take those ideas and run with them. This thing about the septic tank, I have talked about that for the last 25 years, Sean. Finally come to pass, and I'm happy to hear that. Because there's so much that can be done. I know right now you said it's a training opportunity for guys, but I don't know why it couldn't be for commercial business. I mean, we got other people doing that stuff, so why not us doing it? The other thing is the marijuana stuff that's out here. Are we looking into that? So there's just a lot of things, and Diane, thank you for taking on this job that the administration has asked you to do. So that's really good. That's important because not all of our citizens are going to go to college to get a master's degree or a bachelor's degree. They work in plants just like Mr. Crittenden said a while ago. So those are good opportunities for our young folks to do. But I think agriculture is probably a really important one for food, for our citizens to put into our food distribution systems. Cattle operations, we have 24,000 acres in Delaware County, all leased out. We can have cattle on there. We got buffaloes up there. We certainly got a plan for those. So it takes time, but I've been preaching this for the last 12 years that I've been on the council. So things are beginning to shake up, and I'm glad to see this is happening. The other question I've got, what's the call center number?
The call center number, I have it right here. It is called the Gaudoogie Portal,
Okay.
and I had it here. I brought the wrong piece of paper. I brought the one that shows how many is in the account system. I tell you what, I'll email it to you.
Okay, just email it to Gail and she can send it.
I will.
I have it memorized if you'd like to.
All right, well, give it to us. Give it to us. I'm sorry, I had it on my desk. I grabbed the wrong piece of paper.
It's 918-453-5058.
That is correct. I remember the 5058. Okay.
Thank you.
I do have a comment, though. You were talking about the garden centers. Back, I don't remember how many years ago it's been, and some of you may remember, Councilman Byrd may remember, but Lisa Pivick in the Healthy Nations program, one of the things that they did is they worked with these communities to start these community gardens, and also those community, where they could bring their vegetables, like you see down at the library at Stillwell. Her group worked in conjunction with a lot of the different areas to get those started. And I think you have to keep the momentum and you have to keep people, out there working it. I think we start things, but if we don't stay with it, sometimes it kind of goes by the wayside. But I do know that we did do that at one point in time.
Councilman Smith?
Yes, could you go over that one more time about the storm centers? We're not going in the business to build them, right? We're just going to teach people how to do it?
Well, you have to do the training first and see where
Right.
that leads. But we are going to have an industrial trades program, which will be about cement, and it'll deal with, these were the things that were asked that we could make out there. And one was cement vaults for people that are burying their family members out in the rural communities, and some of the rural community cemeteries are in their backyard, for that matter, and some of their home cemeteries. Then septic tanks, storm shelters. I think there was something about aerobic system, those cement boulders for the aerobic systems. And then there was also something about the cement placards. We have a lot of Indian cemeteries out there that we just have rocks. Maybe there's an elder from that community that knows that Diane Kelly and Sean Crenton's buried here, and they've got a rock out there. But once that person's gone, if it's not carried over into somebody else, nobody knows. So we're hoping to have some placards that would just have the person's name, when they were born and when they died, or approximately when they died. I know we have a family cemetery, and it's just got rocks, but there's probably 5 or 6 tombstones out there in it.
Okay. I just didn't want to get home, everybody calling, wanting that cellar, So, all right, thank you.
Is there anything else? Yeah, just make sure. Okay, Sean?
I'm like Harley. Now, that option is out there. We just got to train them first, and we can talk about the production of that stuff, because that's an exciting idea. I know we can't announce anything, or even if the plan, but that is exciting. If we could produce, like I said a while ago, those storm shelters, burial things, septic tanks, they're, again, a lot of our calls, and if there's an opportunity for the plan to get bigger, and we could start supplying some of those, it's exciting to think what could be done. But like you said, the training's got to happen first, so we know how to do it.
Yeah,
So-
it's like the PPE, that was a vision that was started, and also the meat processing. And, at some point in time, that's where our business enterprises have to enter into it so that they can actually go out and market it and make it into a viable business. But at the same time, we can provide training for our Cherokee people so that we can expand those opportunities throughout the whole Cherokee Reservation.
Sounds exciting. Thank you, ma'am.
Mike?
I'm going to kind of echo his sentiments in that the majority of my calls that I'm getting on storm shelters are actually from schools in my district. They just don't have places to put them. The things that they have done to make storm shelters really wouldn't test out as being sufficient, but they're using what they can. So, man, they would be excited about that. And, it seems like the Cherokee Nation, we're getting more autonomous, where we're taking care of more stuff that we need for our citizens. And wow, this would be a big step into doing those things too. I mean, it sounds so good. Everybody would be excited about it, and our schools and our kids would be, and our elders would be the first ones to benefit from it, and that's the calls that we get. So, man, that's a great, things are happening. I just hope it goes through in the end.
Well, a lot of the schools are writing grants, either, I don't know if it's USDA or it's one of the avenues where there is resources, but they're writing for safe rooms that can be adjacent. And I know that a lot of the schools that I've seen have built those into like an auditorium or a place where the kids can have plays, but it's a place for the community to congregate when there is a storm or a tornado.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I just don't know if any of those schools in my district have done that. So
Fort Gibson has a really nice one. You should go visit it.
I might do that. I'll get with Dr. Dobbins. He can take me to lunch and then take me there. It'd be great.
I see no more hands, Diane. It's apparent the people in this room have missed you because they didn't ask you any questions when you were online. They
That's
would let
okay.
you go with 2 or 3 short questions, and here they keep you 30 minutes. So,
I started to call and see if I could do it online.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Corey Bunch? Corey, like normal, we'll do executive director's report and then questions, and then Sequoia High School.
Okay. I hope everyone's doing well this afternoon. I believe that you have my report, and I'd be glad to ask or answer any questions. But before I do that, I'd like to just remind you of a couple of deadlines, if that's okay. Our scholarship deadline is tomorrow. So if you have any constituents out there who have questions or missing documents and that sort of thing, please have them contact us right away. We'll do all that we can to walk them through whatever process that might be, and to also, if they just simply need help uploading documents, they can come into our office, and we'd be glad to assist them with that. Again, that deadline is tomorrow. I'd like to give you an update on the Remember the Removal bike ride. Those young people are in Springfield today. Today's actually a bike maintenance day, so they're doing great. Of course, weather's warming up every single day, and they will return this Friday, and there'll be a ceremony this Friday. And if you don't have that information, then we'll send that out to you right away. Also, we have Camp Cherokee coming up. There's an online registration for that at campcherokee.org. The deadline for applying for the camp is July the 2nd. The camp itself is July the 25th through July 30th. And as usual, that is at the Heart of the Hills campground. The last application deadline that I want to mention is for Miss Cherokee and Junior Miss Cherokee. You can also find those applications online on the Education Services webpage, and you click on Youth Services. You can pull that application up, and you can hand deliver those applications to our office if you need to. The deadline for that, again, July the 1st. Those competitions for those programs will be in August, in late August. And those are the deadlines, Chairperson.
All right. Are there questions? Yes, Counselor Shaw.
Thank you. Corey, how do we find our students for JOM? How are they recruited?
For JOM, well, first of all, we have a contract with several of the public schools, and that just depends on the funding situation there. But each one of those schools is really kind of responsible for helping to identify their students. And so we work with registration services sometimes and go out to those schools, try to get those children registered as early as Head Start age if we have a Head Start site there. So there's just a number of ways that we help to register those citizens, because not only is it JOM funds, but it comes down to car tag funds. It's all sorts of funding. So the earlier the better, and many of the school sites have a designated person who helps them with that process.
Is that done through the school's registration? I mean, do they identify them as Native American?
Yeah, so a lot of the parents can identify their children as Native American, but that doesn't mean that they're actual citizen of any Native American tribe. So like I said, the schools in our reservation boundary, many of them have specific staff people in place to help with that process. So on a regular basis, there are folks down in our office, in the registration office, just bringing in the paperwork that needs to be, because the parents, they don't maybe have the time or the knowledge of how to do that process. So a lot of the times the schools are doing it with those parents.
Okay, so is it income-based or is it race-based?
For the JOM, no, you just got to be Native American. It's not income-based.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor No Fire?
Yeah, I had a question on the hot spots that we did last year. I had a couple of parents ask me, are they going to still remain active for the next calendar year, or what's the plans with those?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the hotspots, from what I understand, will be valid or operable until at least December of this this calendar year. And it really just depends, I think, on the amount of resources there, if they can be extended or not. Many of them were used quite frequently, and to be honest, we had thousands of them that were not used. So it really just depends on the area.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Anything else regarding the executive director's report? Well, all right, so how about Sequoia?
Sequoia, well, I just need to report that we've been engaged in summer school the last couple of weeks. That's fixing to wrap up this coming week. We're just busy for planning on the next school year. As some of the educators in this room know, or former educators, that the school year really never stops. And even during the summertime is some of the busiest days that you'll have all school year in preparation for planning the teaching schedule, enrolling students, hiring vacancies, and all those sorts of things. So just been busy as we can be at Sequoia Schools preparing for next school year.
All right, thank you. Is there questions? Yes, Councilor Dobbins?
Yes, Corey, is football a full go?
Football, we hope, is a full go. You know, really just keeping our eye on the safety things, and if we can get as many students as we can vaccinated, that's going to help our cause tremendously. And we're hiring our staff that we were missing for that. If you haven't been to our campus recently, we've updated our field house. We've spent, I think, right at $100 grand within the past year updating our field house equipment. So we're hoping to be able to kick off the season on time.
Do you know what the numbers are, football participation wise? How many we got?
I do not know those numbers exactly, no, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you, Chair.
Councilor No Fire.
On the shots that came out, the mandatory shot vaccination required for students that are going to be playing athletics. Not going to lie, a lot of people called right off the bat as soon as it was posted. I don't think there was much staff that was talked to about it, so I know they were starting to kind of weigh in on it being mandatory. Instead of being an opt-in, it's an opt-out. And, you know, I think that, you know, the incentives, much like what we did with the employees here, are good, but now we're taking children that are in a trial period of a vaccination and making it mandatory if you want to play sports at a school, which 2 years ago was one of the most dominating athletic sports that I was lucky enough to be a part of back at the beginning of 2000. And it's just kind of, you know, with last year's being the only school in the state of Oklahoma that didn't play any athletics, to now the mandate, and I don't know of any other schools in the state that's done it yet, but the way it was handled already is starting to put a lot of just pressure on students and parents and families to try to make that decision on where to go to with school, and it's kind of just honestly I just hate it. I hate it for the school. It seems like it's been really going through the trenches on some stuff here recently, and just a suggestion. I mean, I know that the parents and stuff I've talked to, I said, well, there is a part there that you can go make an excuse for religious belief, even though I don't want teaching your kids the lie to not have to take the vaccination, because, you know, it's a concern of theirs not knowing a lot about this vaccination with kids. I mean, I have kids, and I'm not going to take them to get them vaccinated. It's one thing that until it gets to that point that we know what's going to happen later on in life, we got to be really cautious on how we protect our kids and not do a couple things, not try to bribe them with money, and also not mandate it over what they don't know, what we don't know as a society. We don't know what's going to happen with these drugs, and so it's a concern. And I wish, you know, go back and just rethink about it. I don't know who the exact decision maker is on that policy, but just it comes with all my heart just to reconsider that policy and making it more of just a opt-in and not an opt-out version. So, but I appreciate you. Thank you.
Any other questions? You want to address that?
Councilor Shambaugh.
It's just
Oh,
a
you can
comment.
address that.
Actually,
Hold on. Would you like to address that directly?
Sure.
Already?
Sure, so just so everybody's clear on it, Sequoia Schools recently passed a policy. We're kind of doing it similar to what Cherokee Nation's doing. We're offering all of our students, 9th through 12th grade, an incentive for getting the vaccine, a $300 incentive, which is similar to what Cherokee Nation's doing. It's not a requirement to be a student at our school to have the vaccine. But as far as the extracurricular activities, whether it's athletics or other extracurricular activities, we have many at Sequoia Schools. We've actually are going to require that, but as Counselor No-Fire mentioned, there are certain exemptions for medical and religious reasons. We've thought about this for quite some time. I've talked to the Cherokee Nation health staff, leading epidemiologist. We really feel like to get back to going to school each day in person and to our activities, that this was the best step forward to not only keep our students safe, but our staff safe and the parents of our students. So that's why we've put this into place. Many of the, as you guys know, if you've had students in public schools, they're already required to take a lot of different vaccines for measles and other things to enter into kindergarten, the Tdap at 7th grade, even meningitis vaccinations to get into college. So I'm not saying that this is ever going to be an ongoing thing. We hope it's just a short period of time. But the main reason we've done it is to get our students back on campus, back engaged in what we wanted them to be all of last year. And we really just felt like this has given us that opportunity to do so. So that's the reason why we put this into place. I've spoke with many people about it, and we're going to kick that off. The requirement actually starts on August 1st. The Cherokee Nation health staff has graciously volunteered to set up a weekly vaccination clinic at our school. So we really encourage our students to get that if they so choose.
Counselor Shambaugh.
Actually, the FDA says this is not just a test virus. It's been approved by the FDA, so it's not untested. And there's also recently been a federal ruling in favor of that, saying that there was a hospital that the employees that were suing the hospital because they were doing the same thing, that they shouldn't do this, be forced to take it. But a federal judge actually said that, yes, a hospital could do that, and I'm sure, I just know that there's a lot of, gosh, it's either one way or the other in this deal, and it's tough on your stance on it. But as far as it being not approved by the FDA, that's not true. It has been approved by the FDA.
Counselor Byrd? Okay, I thought you indicated. Anybody else?
Just to reply to that, what Counselor Shambaugh said, it's emergency use authorization only on FDA approval. So it's still in a trial phase. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that and I'm not sure if, I think we're going to have to with the kids, they have to be monitored for the next 2 months, I think, after they take their vaccinations. At least that's one of the last forms that I heard in the process of where we're at and making it fully FDA approved outside the emergency use on it there.
Well, we will certainly follow all the guidance of Cherokee Nation Health Services. They're terrific staff to work with. We're in contact with them constantly, and we will definitely keep an eye out for any safety measures.
Anybody else? All right. Seeing none. Thank you, Corey. And Ms. Verna Thompson?
Hello,
Yes.
I'm here with Cheryl McMahon Thompson and Sandra Turner. We are all vaccinated, so we can sit here without masks, and we are just getting out of a meeting and brainstorming, so I invited them to sit with me to hear the business of the Cherokee Nation Education Department, and a lot of good things are going on. I'm excited, I'm proud, and I want to tell you about a few things, but before I do, I wanted to let you know about, this morning I went out and it was during water play, and I wish you all could come up and see these babies. They go all year long. Head Start children, 3 and 4-year-olds, are furloughed for the summer, like public school children. But early Head Start infant and toddlers come to school every day. And today was water play, and they are so cute in their bathing suits and in the sprinkler systems. They don't know that it's 90 degrees. They just play and play. And they went in and ate and slept for 2.5 hours. But they are so cute. But with that, I wanted to go out and just take pulse of the staff and see how they're holding up in this heat and carrying the weight of 2 and 3 staff each because we are so understaffed. And all that to say, the summer is the busiest time of the year for us with committee work. One committee in particular is the retention and recruitment committee, and there's 2 of them actually, geared in different directions. One to recruit them, one to keep them. So they have different focuses, and they're doing an outstanding job of trying to find just the most suitable staff to work with those babies that don't mind being out there when it's a little bit hot. And don't mind getting wet if they have to be with the children. And I'm proud to say that we are nearing almost 20 men in the program. Our babies need male figures, so we continue to recruit men. If you all know any staff to send our way in any direction, Diane mentioned the child care training program, the Livermore Rogers area. We would love to recruit some of those staff for the Salina sites, and we have one opening at Pryor. But here in the Tahlequah area is where most of our vacancies are. But I am really proud of the guys in our program. But we're really busy this summer. We submitted 3 applications. We've already heard back on 2 of them. We got funded, which means for the next 2 years, we'll have close to $1.5 million additional dollars to do COVID related. So we have 5 additional staff to hire, and that just increases our list of vacancies. But we're proud to have them, and I know once everybody gets situated, and I don't want to badmouth anybody that's drawing the unemployment stimulus amount, because a lot of it has to do with childcare, and until they can come back to school or whatever they're doing, and allowing the parents to go back, that's when they will go back, and that's when we will be able to fill our positions. And with that said, I really want to sing praises to the HR folks. You know, I mean, Chrissy helps us quite a bit. The background check people, Chad Shade, Holly Wright, all of those folks help us. And Brenda Lance has always been there for us in Atlanta. They're just really supportive of our efforts. And this time next month, when I come back and report, I want to report on 2 initiatives we're working on for recruitment and retention. And I don't believe, in fact, I'm sure that no other Head Start program does the 2 initiatives that I'm going to introduce next month. So we're very proud of that. One is 100% done, but not ready for full announcement. But I'll come with those 2 bits of good news hopefully next month. We just are constantly looking for staff. If anybody knows any folks, we operate on the premise that we like to hire the heart and train the brain, because we want committed staff here working with our children. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Verna, your continuous love for the kids is ever present. Just hearing you talk about them playing and the joy that it brings you seeing them play today tells me that after however many years you've been doing this, that you still have not lost your love for the children. So I applaud you for that. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I can spread that across the board because we have so many people that have been here 30 and 35 years and plus, several of them. So this is our career. We work for the babies. They're our supervisors. They tell us what to do.
Thank you again. Are there any questions for Verna? I see none, Verna.
Excuse me?
I guess you can go back to watching the babies.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I see no old business or new business pending. And the only announcement is that the next business meeting is tentatively scheduled for July 12th at 3 p.m. I would entertain a motion for adjournment. Second. Aye. Sounds good to me.